Swirly. We're live. We're back. Welcome to the Meat Mosaic. We're the crazy people that just talk about eating meat and can't stop talking about it. Anyways, it's Justin and me again.
Hey everybody.
And it's
Did
our
our big group together video, did you post that yet? We got a great content coming up from New Year's. We got a lot of great old faces. We got Janice. We had Raymond Nazon, the one and only.
Ray.
Joe Zumbo, myself and Tom. It was great. If you guys have been around for a while, we know we used to swap out a bunch of different faces a lot more. Everyone kind of seemed to launch their own thing or get recruited by somebody. Me and humble Tom, though, we've kind of kept it strong here. So just only a tad bit of jealousy, but we'll have our day in court.
Yeah, well, it's nice. I mean, I've been keeping in touch more recently with Becky Niles and Amanda Leia. And, they used to do videos here and there back in the day. We used to spend a ton of time in meetings with those guys. And, staying in touch with everybody's a lot of work. But we are doing our best. So anyways, yeah, everybody, the usual, I'll do the usual spiel. Make sure and like our video, paste the links around for us.
Join the Meat Mosaic Facebook group, the Meat Mosaic Telegram group. Make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you hit that notification bell so you know whenever we go live, as well as when a video drops. There, you got to have passion with it, Tom.
Passion.
Got to excite. Got to be a hype man. You know what I mean?
You know what it is? I'm always worried about being too loud on the microphone.
People like loud. Well, I don't know. We're from the TISM community. They don't like loud very much, but I don't remember seeing any complaints.
That's why I only did one video with intro music. Because the TISM crowd gets all freaked out. I can't listen to this.
Well, Jonathan has intro music on his. Bart has intro music, and his army of the meat. Well, I guess there's an actual army he's building now. It looks like on his beginning of his videos now.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So people do it. Here's Christina. Howdy, Christina.
Hey, Christina.
Great to have you here. So, anyways, do you want to tell them about should I get into the experiment, or you want to tell them about the article first?
Yeah, we can start about the egg experiment because I am curious how that's going.
All right. So, way back when, Justin came across this study, and it was talking about how they fed raw eggs, like 36 raw eggs, to people that had severe burns, and the raw eggs helped them grow their skin back faster. And this is usually like people that had to feed through a feeding tube because they're.
Well, was it that, or what else? They were like feeding them like oatmeal or sugar, or like straight sugar and honey or something like that. Like that's all they. Also, right?
I don't remember that part, but I know we were discussing, because a lot of times they give people IVs with glucose in them.
Right. Yeah. So I think it was either the glucose or it was the eggs. I'm just trying to make that joke.
Yeah. So those are the two things. So that was curious enough. But then, of course, the classic bodybuilder diet is steak and eggs. I mean, nowadays people eat all kinds of vegetables and lean chicken breast to get super lean. That's kind of the difference between probably strength trainers and bodybuilders. Bodybuilders got to get really lean at some point. And a lot of people these days will eat a lot of carbs to get big, and then they'll fast or whatever their way down, cut calories. The cutting, the cutting, there's all kinds of cutting techniques. But number of people have done this thing where they eat like 30 eggs a day, and they swear it's semi-equivalent to using anabolic steroids. So
a cycle of steroids.
And of course, eggs are very nutritious. They've got basically everything in them, right? So an egg obviously turns into an entire life form, usually a chicken. But so anyways, I thought, well, I'm curious what happens. How many eggs can I eat in a day? How does it affect my digestion? Will it affect my workouts? Will it help out? So I just said, well, let's do this experiment. Of course, I didn't know there was about to be a giant egg shortage. So that was the first problem. Eggs are hard to come by. You walk in one warehouse store and like there wasn't a single egg in the place. They normally have like 5 different kinds. They have them in bulk. They have them in 12 packs, 18 packs, 24 packs, 36 packs, and then they had no packs. I was paying upwards of, I think I paid as much as 56 cents a piece. So, and then I did go to the egg farm. It's one of those things where I can go, but I have to go on Saturdays to get there. So anyways, long story short, there's been some supply chain issues, and I have not done it continuously. I've also had some logistic issues because there is nothing more monotonous than cracking egg after freaking egg after freaking egg and freaking egg, right? And my original intention was just to drink them raw. I like them blended. I don't like the full gloppy egg. I mean, 1 or 2 is fine, but 30 of them, it's going to be all on my beard, on my shirt if I try and do that, because I'm always on the go. It's not like I have time to just sit down during the week and just take my time to leisurely drink at 30 eggs. So the idea was prep as
no
many,
one got time for that.
right? So the idea was prep them like in 3-day batches or something like that and blend them, put them in the fridge, and then put them in sippy cups or whatever and take them on the road with me. So that kind of worked, but then it seemed like it was more fat than I could handle at one time. So then it became like, how do I thin this down? Just add a
So
little
wait,
water.
I know the issue with you not being able to chuck down as much protein. For those that don't know, which I'm sure everyone that watching this probably does know, Tom is a lifting machine, and he requires a lot of protein to lift. And so he's done the math. And what are you at? Like 300, 400 grams protein?
I usually try and get in at least 300, but sometimes I'll push it to like double that. But that's tough to do if you're just eating meat. It's a lot of freaking eating. So, and of course, this isn't like the thing that the average person wants to do. So, but I mean, anybody's watched any sort of video on people who are, trying really hard to do something, it gets a little wacky, right? It's like and just eating, I was talking with somebody the other day who's, a carnivore, who's trying to work it out. And, it's like, especially when you're a bigger person and you've got some goals, it's not laid back carnivore where you just eat, once a day, twice a day, when you feel like it, the cut of meat you want. It's when you got to eat a lot. And, I've said this before, like a light day for me is like 3,700 calories. That's like if I laid in bed all day or something, and then, which never happens. And then the far end of the scale is 10,000 calories in a day. That's how much I use. I've never eaten that much in a day, not as a carnivore anyways. So you wind up making up for that the next day. My workouts are different every day, so a leg day definitely need more protein and more energy or fat for leg days because you're just working bigger muscles. And same thing, back day is more than like arm day, and that's how I divide things up. A lot of people don't do it that way. So send your hate mail to Justin again. But so the amount I eat in a day varies, and the eggs, 30 eggs is going to work out to be roughly half of my intake for an average day, right? And that was like 6 cups of raw egg. So since it seemed like too much fat, and what happens when I eat too much fat up front, I can't get enough protein in because the satiety signals are too strong with this one. And it's like, man, I don't feel like eating.
Which is pretty interesting just because, well, 2 things are interesting to me. One, no digestive issues. That's not the flag for you, which I think is really interesting. But the
Yeah,
other part,
I was kind of worried about that. Like, man, am am I gonna get, some sort of upset stomach or whatever trying to drink that much?
yeah, and then the other part about it, just your satiety signals being able to activate, and let's face it, appropriately, right? And so, but you're a bigger guy, you have a history of being an even bigger guy, and I would imagine that there was a time in your life where you could buffet it up, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, I wasn't necessarily a person who ate like big meals or whatever. I just ate the wrong food, more or less all day.
Were you just a
And
snacker? You think you just got that way, just snacking all day?
well, it's like the classic tales, like when you're a kid and they give you a bowl of cereal in the morning, with like skim milk, and then you're throwing a spoonful of sugar on or 10 on top of that, and then you got toast with peanut butter and jelly and a glass of orange juice, and you choke that down, you run off to work or school, and then like 2 hours later, you're famished and your blood sugar's crashing, and then it's like you eat whatever you can find or whatever you brought with, juicy
Peanut
pop,
butter and jelly sandwich.
peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, you know, uh, whatever it was, it was just you ate whatever you could, and at lunch or at school or maybe a break you eat a snack or something, and then you come home after school and then find something in the fridge to eat, and then dinner time comes around, you eat again, and meanwhile you're drinking soda.
Lasagna. No.
I don't yeah, I'm a little older than Justin, so he probably doesn't remember the advent of the 2-liter bottle.
Oh yeah, I remember the 2 liter bottle. Yeah.
Oh, well, I mean, like I remember when it like became a thing.
Oh.
Like I remember glass bottles, soda coming in glass bottles, and returning them sticky bottles to the store, putting them in a giant bin. But anyways, the 2-liter soda bottle came out, and then there was the cola wars. Like everybody was putting their soda on sale, Coke and Pepsi and RC and Dad's root beer and Sprite and 7 Up and everything. They were like having price wars. They were like, it was going on sale all the time, and we chugged that stuff, like it was no tomorrow. So I'm sure that's where a lot of the calories came from, you know and so it was stuff like that for sure. And then the drinks started getting bigger at McDonald's and 7-Eleven, and everywhere where you went, it's like, oh, all of a sudden there were soda fountains outside the counter, like you could fill up your cup like that. That all probably played a major role in it.
The 64 big gulp or whatever it was, 64 ounce.
Yeah. So yeah, and 64 ounces, that's freaking half a gallon, right? 32 ouncer is a quart. It's a quarter of a gallon, right? And we were just chugging that stuff when I was kids. So yeah, I think that's a lot of it. There's just a lot of like, like we were talking about those popsicles and stuff like that. They might have had a little bit of fruit juice in them, which is really good for you, but it was a bunch of sugar, water, and all that stuff, and chocolate milk, and all that stuff. So yeah, and then when I started actually working out as an adult, I noticed my appetite was just getting worse, and I was still eating crappy breakfast, and then start throwing in like pre-workout, and somewhere there you start drinking coffee, and then like I get to the gym in the morning. I worked out in the morning before work then, and my stomach would feel awful, and I was like trying to work out. I was like, how the hell are these people working out, man? I feel sick. I remember just like pondering that and trying different stuff. So, and of course I had no idea how much I was eating or how much I was supposed to eat, and all I'm doing is looking at the food pyramid and eventually my plate and all that other crap, going, oh, I just got to eat more oatmeal and toast, get those grains in, eat some quinoa and basmati rice and spinach.
Well, Tom, did you hear that the new food guide I don't know if I've actually looked at it yet. Says that Lucky Charms are healthier than steak. So be on the lookout for that. I suppose that'll be a fun one once that's government work and government time. So
Well, that might
maybe
be true
next week or something.
for leprechaun nutrition. We're not sure.
True. We should. Yeah.
There is a pilot study I hear coming out with leprechauns and Lucky Charms. So
yeah, possibly they could be glucose burning. Magically delicious, I suppose. If you're made of magic, probably doesn't matter. Although they don't look very muscular. I'll just say that. Their hardest part of their life is running from children. Apparently, I guess that's not that hard when you're magic. I don't know.
Right. Something like that.
But you bring up a good point. Drinking your calories, right? As we say, or energy. We don't have to get to the calorie definition wars each time we bring it up. So if you guys are looking for that today, this is not that video. But drinking your calories. Soda does not activate leptin, I don't think. I would imagine it's not. The only reason you stop drinking the soda is because your stomach is so full of gas from the carbonation. That's the only thing that stops you.
Or you drank so much that you start to get nauseated. I remember when I started college, like there was they had some random contest, see who could drink a 2 liter of soda and eat a whole pizza at one time.
Oof.
And I freaking crushed drinking the 2 liter of soda. And there was this guy, I was on the basketball team, and he couldn't get that whole soda down, and I grabbed his and finished it for him, and he was all pissed off. And then I proceeded to wish I could throw up because it was bad. I felt so off, and I know it was just too much sugar. Because if I eat too much sugar, man, I get queasy. I wish I could throw up.
Well, yeah, these little signs pop up, right? But you just like, oh, that was too much soda, so moderation. It's like, okay, I found my limit of soda, but you don't translate that to everything else. Or that like, oh, this is just genuinely a bad idea.
Yeah. So anyways, yeah, drinking the eggs, it was a chore. And then I was like, how can I like change the fat to protein ratio in the middle of a egg shortage? My first thought was just add some egg whites, right? How convenient that would be if there was any available. And my next thought was, well, I'm just going to have to separate these eggs by hand. And then my next thought was, this is already tedious enough. I am not going to do that, especially since eggs are so damn hard to get. So I actually got some egg whites last night.
You'll be throwing away oil price like at that by the gallon, pretty much gas prices at that point, tossing all those yolks.
I was like, man, I got to save these yolks and I don't know, make custard out of them or something. There's lots of things you could do with them, but I was like, I don't know when I'm gonna have time. I'll probably have to throw them in the freezer or something. I don't know. So it got to be a mess. And then I literally got to one, I think it was last week. There was like 2 or 3 days there where like I just didn't have time to crack all those eggs. And here's the other problem. Rearranging your entire refrigerator, moving shelves around and making special cardboard boxes to hold all the eggs so they fit in the fridge. Right. So this is like a logistics nightmare when you don't have a lot of time to kill at it,
You should take a picture of that. I hope you need to take a picture of that, put it on Instagram or show it to us or something. That's amazing.
The custom cardboard box.
Yeah. For the eggs. Yeah.
Yeah. I will. In fact, I've been saving those little egg crate paper things, I have saved those because you go through a layer of eggs and then you can take the cardboard egg crate out and then go through another layer. And it's like, yeah, I hope I don't accidentally throw that away because how am I going to go to all this trouble of building my special egg crate so it fits in my fridge? And then you got to fit your other food in because, like I said, this is like half of my intake for a day. So it's like, where's all my meat going to go? I got to stick my meat somewhere. Can't leave it out on the counter. So, anyways,
And just for those in the audience, you can make carnivore complicated. You can make it
yeah.
as complicated if you want it. If you feel that eat meat, drink water, have some salt is too easy for you, you can go ahead and build an egg box in your fridge
Mhm.
and make your life that much more difficult. If that's your thing, if that's what gets you there, if you need that special challenge, we've got options for you. That's all I'm saying.
Yep. I mean, that's the thing. I mean, I love, I said a million times, I love a good experiment. And when I realized how challenging this was, I really had to do it. This is like, all right, I'm going to figure this out. Somehow, some way, I'm going to make this. So the experiment is still going on. It's had some setbacks, but I haven't like managed to do a solid, well, it hasn't even been 30 days, but I haven't been able to do a continuous even a whole week yet. So I'm working on it. So and now, it's just one of those things. I'm doing it out of curiosity. I mean, if it really is an enhancement to strength training, hey, why not? And then it's like everything. I mean, the reason why I tried fasting was really just curiosity more than anything, you know. And now I don't. I really don't fast. If I'm fasting, it's because I'm a long ways from my lunchbox. So
You're stuck in on the 60,
91,
91 or that.
or
Yeah.
I'm at a meeting
You're in a meeting.
with clients that lasts all day or something. But they usually want to eat, so that's not so bad. So, anyways, yeah, the experiment. We'll see. We'll see. I'll get it right sooner or later. But yeah, my plan right now is just to thin it down with some egg whites and see if I can get that in. Because did I already say I tried thinning it down with whey isolate? Did I?
Yeah.
So
I think that was in private though. I don't think you
yeah.
shared that publicly yet.
So when I couldn't get the egg whites, I was like, wow, what am I going to do? And it did have some collagen peptide, which is a protein powder. But I was like, let me try the whey isolate. So I grabbed this tub, and it's not cheap. And I bring it home and I mix it up, and I realize it's like Fruity Pebbles flavored. And I was like, damn it, what is going on? Then I realized I had some plain naked whey in the pantry that I forgot I had. So I spent all that money on some Fruity Pebbles crap. Didn't have any sugar in it, but it had flavor. And then it has these little colored beads in it that dissolve and make it turn gray. So it's got like red and blue and green and all that. And um, eventually they turn gray and just make the whey isolate go from a nice white color with colored speckles in it to a gray sludge. So it's pretty much not my thing. And I tried mixing it in, and I drank it, and I got really queasy, like almost left work. Like, oh my god, if this doesn't pass soon, I'm gonna go home and hurl. So
What do you think in it made you queasy?
I think it was just that. I think it's just a combination of the whey isolate and the raw egg. Hi, Vanessa and Margie. So, yeah, so I think it just didn't agree with me, and it did pass. But it's 6 cups a day, basically. Now, here's the other thing. I don't know. I don't remember reading where they said what size eggs. And there is a difference between a large egg and a jumbo when it comes to volume. When you're cracking 30 of them, it's a significant difference in fluid volume. So, anyways, I probably should do my homework and see what these guys. And of course, the guys I saw that were doing these articles, they were average sized people. They were fit, but they were like 150 pounds, 160 pounds, or something like that. They weren't quite as big as me. So I don't know. But only time will tell. I'm gonna keep grinding away at it. So.
But why? But why?
RG, you're late to the party, man. Didn't I tell you all this? All right, I'll explain it to Margie on the side since I heard he explained it here once. Unless Justin really wants to hear me say it again.
No, that's okay. As much as I love the sound of your voice, um, but I'm glad it's still moving forward, and I still think that the your leptin uh, reacting appropriately is still really cool. Like uh, it's a good sign, you know.
Mar-
Um,
Since Margie's here, I'll just throw this out. She got me into a push-up contest. Maybe we should get Justin to do it.
Another, I don't know. I crushed everyone last time.
All right, so sweet. This one is actually just a challenge where you could do so many a day. Everybody's doing the same. It's not like a contest like we always turn everything into. uh, so,
But our next article leads into what we were just going over. Um, so I don't know. For some reason, are we going to share the article? I don't know what we're doing here. Sorry, we didn't discuss pre-show logistics.
yeah, we're just doing the usual. I got it up here. Let me.
Okay. So I found this article, well, because Facebook's been advertising men's health or women's health or whatever to me, which is fine. I mean, of all the other things they could advertise to me, that's not terrible. But like this popped up. This popped up, and I thought it was fairly interesting. The supposed fittest woman on earth, Tia Claire Toomey. Wow, she certainly won the lottery on names with that one. But what she eats in a day, and I didn't find it interesting necessarily because of what she eats, but more the quote there is, "I'm constantly keeping my body fueled, so I'm never feeling hungry." And I just kind of thought that was like, boom, me and Tom's kind of message, or at least like, what Tom's message for sure. We're a bit anti-heroes in the carnivore community because a lot of people are big on fasting, timed eating, measuring. Tom does some measuring, but he measures to make sure he's getting enough food. He doesn't measure to restrict, which I think other people measure to restrict.
Yeah, I kind of measure mostly so I make it because I take everything with me. So it's like, do I have enough food? And now it's really just I know I got to fill a container of meat and a container of this and a container of that and take it with me so I have enough. It's like you said, it's not a restriction thing. It's having enough thing. It's planning ahead meal prepping thing.
Right. And look at her. I mean, I'm not going to make any accusations or not accusations about that this may or may not be food only. And for those that don't know what CrossFit is fitness of burning the candle at both ends, of lifting heavy and very fast, basically.
Yeah, they do some running. They do a lot of lifting. They do a lot of like speed exercises, roping and lifting and stuff like that. So it's a mix, right? It's a mix
Right.
of cardio and strength. So she's won it 5 times. I mean, me looking at her, maybe she's using some substances, maybe she's not. I mean, there's always outliers, right?
Right.
I mean, like the whole thing with Ronnie Coleman. Ronnie Coleman claims he did not use steroids till he was 30. And there was a dramatic change when he was 30. So it's entirely possible that he is a genetic outlier. And of course, if you're the 5-time CrossFit champ, you're probably a genetic outlier. So, I mean, I don't know. You look at a guy like people always have accused Dr. Sean Baker repeatedly of using substances, but he just doesn't look like a giant Ronnie Coleman, even though he works out like an animal every day. So there you go. And of course, we did that video where we were talking about Maria Emmerich and Brian Shaw and stuff like that. They're different they're different looking people because they do different athletics, right? They train for different sports. So, a girl like this who creates a CrossFit, there is definitely girls bigger than her in CrossFit.
Mm.
And it's frequently dominated by Norwegians. Just throwing that out there. She doesn't look like your typical Norwegian, but she could be.
I don't know. I don't know what nationality that name is.
Yeah, and that could be her married name. It may have
True.
nothing to do with her genetics. So anyways, there you go. That's her, and she's not super bulky by any stretch of the imagination. But no, I don't think any CrossFit champ is going to be, because if you're really bulky, you're not going to be able to move really fast. There's always that trade-off. Ronnie Coleman's never going to win a marathon, right? So, yeah. So, but anyways, the point here being not to debate whether she's on the gear or not. She talks about feeding frequently. Of course, she has somebody helping with her diet. She mentions in here avoiding certain ingredients and stuff like that, which of course most carnivores are going to do. There's her breakfast. Margie might like that breakfast. Margie's more, just never claimed to be a carnivore. She's more keto, so this is more in line with her. Of course, I'd smash that breakfast in a hurry, although that plate looks kind of small.
I don't know. That bread, I mean, is that under 50 grams of carbs? That bread?
Oh, I have no idea. I mean, who knows if it's actual bread or whatever, I don't know. And of course, I would avoid the bread, but I am occasionally tempted by the avocado.
Yeah.
My dear neighbor, Wheelie Joe, brought me some beautiful avocados that he grew himself. So I ate them. They were amazing.
Did you add a little lemon juice, a little bit of salt, or just straight avocado?
Just straight avocado, man. I ate them right out of the skins. They were the most perfect avocados I'd ever had. They look like a Fuerte, but they had none of that fibrous stuff inside. So either we got really lucky or it's some offshoot. But they were perfect, buttery avocados. Anybody grew up in Southern California and probably a bunch of other warm regions, avocados is something you grow up with. It's hard to never eat one again.
I mean, guac, well, that's why I had to ask. It's like, okay, did you just eat it like that, or did you make yourself some guac? That was my big. That's what I was getting to.
Had I had more of them, I probably would have made some guac. But I had like 5 or 6 of them, and when we brought them over, they weren't quite ripe, and they all went ripe at the same time. So I just ate them like 1 or 2 a day and the biggest one was a pound by itself. It was a big avocado because my buddy Aaron came over and he goes, "Damn, look at the size of those." And so he threw it on the scale, and sure enough, it was a solid pound. It's good stuff. Since I froze the page right here, this is a quote from the article. "I have a glass of water and squeeze a lemon into it just to give it a bit of flavor." She says she follows that up with 2 Goli apple cider vinegar gummies. Where have we come to in the world of food where we make everything into a gummy, including vinegar? I mean, what the hell is going on?
Hey, man, you got to make it palatable. You got to get your glucose in with your ACV.
Yeah, Sly. I don't know. I already mentioned Sly mentioned she loves avocados and the guac herself. So, but yeah, I did a video a long time ago. I don't know if you were in that one, Justin, but I was talking about apple cider vinegar having the world's greatest marketing team because they got
Well, we also did a video, but I think you had done a video before our video too.
And I did a little like thumbnail, like making a sour face, drinking out of a bottle of apple cider vinegar, and people are like, "They sell that in capsules, right?" obviously didn't watch the video. So yeah, don't do me the vinegar. So how much vinegar are you drinking these days, Justin?
I ain't drinking no vinegar, man. I used to do those shots with agave. I used to do them straight. Yeah, no. I did my time with the vinegar. Now I just use it to like wipe the floor, wipe the
Right.
mess.
Great cleaning product. Smells a little bit, but So let's ask Christina, Vanessa, Marjorie, and Sly. You guys drinking much vinegar these days?
Yeah, and they claim it's pretty much good for everything, right? Supposedly.
Yeah. So anyways, oats, blueberries, strawberries, raspberries, blah blah blah, berries, oats, berries, oats. So anyways, she eats frequently. There has some salmon. What is that?
Kale looks like. I don't know.
It's like roasted romaine or
Mm.
kale, maybe. It's a little dark for kale, but this looks like it's cooked. Here we go. Asparagus just for Margie. Potatoes, eggs on a bagel. Vegetables, fruit, blah, blah, blah. So, anyways, here you got somebody who's very fit and eats very frequently.
Yeah, and eats, well, what we would classify as the wrong stuff. I don't know.
Yeah, that Sam. So there's some egg, not a lot of egg. There's some.
I think there's chicken in that salad or something. There's something in that salad. Lunch.
That looks like the raw vegetables that haven't even been cooked yet, like something that's about to be sauteed. So I think it's just a shot because she talked about stir fry. Fry pure coconut oil again. Coconut oil. I noticed when I was doing keto that coconut oil didn't necessarily agree with my digestion. So I don't know. Anybody else out there still using coconut oil? Maybe Marge, since she's not carnivore. She's like, "Oh, stop picking on me." Never. Let's see. Christina says, "Nope, not me. I react badly to vinegar." Marty says, "Once in a while to keep my stomach acid high." And Sly says, "Only
when adjusting to a new fat and indigestion." So does seem to help out a few people here and there.
Yeah. Well, as a remedy, maybe it's got some utility. But like they've got people convinced you got to be drinking it every day or having some gummies every day or whatever. It's like, what? Dinner, what'd you say? Salmon or steak. All right. So salmon or steak, snacks. So again, hey, who didn't used to eat bananas? How many?
Right.
I mean, a banana a day was kind of a standard thing,
Yeah, it was the acceptable snack. After school snack was, oh, don't get cereal, don't get that. Just have a banana.
Yeah. So, and when my arthritis was sort of peaking, I was eating like an apple and a banana and sometimes an orange every day. And I would frequently eat them in the car and sitting in traffic because it was convenient, right? It's like, but I would notice that when I got out of the car, like my joints hurt worse, particularly when I ate apples. Mm-hmm. So, and I kind of bought into that silly saying, an apple a day keeps the doctor away, So, anyways, I could literally like skip the apple and then repeat the same commute and get out of the car and not have tremendous joint pain. Right. It's like, wait a minute. Does this possibly be the issue right here? So yeah, I don't know. I assume it's the sugar primarily.
inflammatory response, messing with your mitochondria, maybe.
Yeah, it's just the sugar's inflammatory or something. So March says a coconut gives her HBP, high blood pressure. Interesting. Yeah, I used to eat the coconut oil when I was keto, but I noticed that like it would kind of like give me a little bit of heartburn, you know. And here is my thing about coconut oil is people are always like, well, coconut oil is a great antimicrobial, and I'm like, okay, so when you eat it, do you know what it's killing? You know, if it's killing microbes, how do you know it's not killing microbes in your digestive tract that you need, right? So, anyways, it is a good remedy for, you know, the skin. I believe I found these studies recently uh um that talked about, because I forgot why I was even looking up coconut oil, something to do with you know, diets. But anyways, I came across the studies where it was talking about its effectiveness to kill both candida and staphylococcus. So anyways, I have those. I was posting a bunch of studies one night in autistic carnivores, and Facebook started blocking me because I posted too much stuff in my own group. I was posting books and studies, and it locked me out. Freaking book face.
Thanks for the help, Zuckerberg. Appreciate all.
Right. So, anyways, what do you got as far as this diet, Justin?
I mean, so it's kind of funny because obviously she eats a lot of non-approved foods or what have you. I mean, she's eating pretty much Whole30 or whatever you want to call it. She probably is having a bit more meat than what's shown in these pictures, I would guess. But you know, the current thought of the time, right, is more veggies. So they got to showcase the veggies. Anyway, she's eating frequently, and it's kind of a few thoughts. First is she eating frequently because she has to keep her blood sugar high? You know. Secondly, it gives an image of eating this way is okay. You can be perfectly healthy eating this way. Of course, in this, and not saying that this is the end all and be all. And on her, everything, I'm sure she does get regular blood tests and everything, and she's probably working with this professional and that professional and whatnot. But you know, she didn't provide any glucose numbers or anything like that. No blood work, which is fine. But I think the bigger key here is that, I mean, she does. I would imagine she's working out an hour and a half to 2 hours a day, maybe something like that, probably.
I
Maybe
don't know,
not
to be the
daily.
champ, maybe more, right?
Right.
She's like at the top of her game. So
Yeah, and so there is a thing where there is kind of this weird point. I don't know how old. Did you say how old she is? I forget. Is she
I
late
don't recall
20s
seeing that in here.
or early 30s? I'm sure that could be Googled somewhere else or something. But
Yeah.
she looks like late 20s to me. So there is kind of a spot in our development where we're not that metabolically damaged. I don't think she has straight diabetes or type 2 diabetes or anything like that. And so there is this kind of point where she's at her age, at her activity level, where currently she is able to out exercise the bad diet. And I know that's something that we say you can't do. But I think when we say that, we're typically talking to older people, and we're also talking to people that are eating pizza, donuts, Doritos, what have you. Slightly different than what she's doing.
She, for the record, the interweb says she's 29.
Okay, so I
It's
nailed
not
it.
even 30 yet.
Not 30 yet. Right, yeah. And so kind of the BART argument and the the honey people versus the hot honey people versus the carbs people versus not carbs people
Oh, she's
is
Australian. I didn't even
uh,
notice that.
um
I have to post,
is
post that in Joe's group.
is that
I'm not gonna let you finish your thought. Just
no, you're
kidding.
not. And I'm totally getting lost now. All right.
All right,
The
recenter.
the honey people versus the not honey people, what have you. Fruits are okay versus the not fruits are okay. Um, Typically, the people that are saying honey's okay, fruit's okay, is people that are highly active and they're a
Mm,
bit on the younger side,
mm.
usually mid 40s or younger. And so their body is fine processing that through the activity. Ooh, ooh, Bart's gonna hate me. Don't
He's
talk
gonna
with your
tell you
hands.
put your hands down.
Put your hands
Stop
down.
talking with your hands. Sit on your hands if you can't behave. Get a
And
sick yellow Ted on you.
that kind of that is a point, and that is a thing that can be done. The problem is that everyone kind of starts to slow down to an extent eventually at some point, and your body, all that havoc is just you're gonna kind of hit it like a brick wall in theory. Hard to say exactly what will happen and what each individual's case would be, um, but just whenever we see articles like this, in my opinion, we see the pro fruit, pro honey people, um, they're not moving the clock further up enough, you
Mhm.
know. And it's like, yes, we seem to have learned, although I still have a bit of a disagreement with it, that if you eat meat and do nothing, you might pack on some pounds, but you might pack on some pounds, but are you clinically unhealthy? I haven't really seen that. And I think that makes a difference. But our society is so focused on numbers on scales and body composition, which are both important,
Yes, we are.
that it's we've lost quality of life and health as what would that be? Are abs the ideal body fat percentage for most people? I actually vote no on that, um, because many people struggle to get that and how the difficulty to keep them, right? For most, there are, of course, the genetically gifted, but you don't pull averages from the margins. Talking averages here. And this article is for the average person, for general folks that happen to be scrolling through uh, Facebook with a minor to moderate interest in health and fitness, right? So that's why the article is not too complicated, but the idea, of course, is to promote their brand, women's health, whatever, etc. Uh, and the way they do that is like, oh, if I do this, I can look that way, which 98% of the time is just not true.
Yeah, so let me throw in on the carb thing and the fructose thing in particular, because one, I mean, I'm sure, like you alluded to, that when somebody like Tia Claire Toomey is, she's probably very active every day or almost every day, right? So she's gonna burn those carbohydrates off quickly, so that blood sugar isn't going to stay high just because of the consumption, right? So if it's not staying high, um, you know, like Dr. Salad Dinosaur, he's always surfing 3 hours a day, 2 or 3 hours a day, or whatever, So that takes a tremendous amount of energy. So he's probably burning a lot of it off, right?
Mhm.
And he's got to be a bit older. I don't know. He's got to be 40 something, right?
Yeah, I want to say he's 45, somewhere ballpark, give or take 3 years.
So, but he's very active, and then of course a lot of people pointed out the change in his face, and so I don't know. Did I send out the links on the studies from board of dermatology or whatever it was that they were talking about fructose cross-linking collagen.
I'm not sure if you sent that out, but we've had a private conversation about it. But feel free to share. I mean, I'm sure you posted it somewhere, but I wouldn't pull it up.
I kind of lost track of what got posted and what didn't, but it was one of those things I was tracking. So anyways, what happens is when fructose is in the body, first of all, it's thought to be better than other carbohydrates because it doesn't spike blood sugar. And that's because it has to go to the liver in order to be processed. You can't just absorb fructose like you can other carbohydrates, which I find interesting since we're supposedly fruit eating monkeys that started walking on two legs. And so anyways, the fructose goes to the liver, gets converted, and then if you have a surplus of calories, you wind up storing it as visceral fat, typically in the liver. You get the fatty liver syndrome. So fructose has been implicated in the development of non-alcoholic fatty liver syndrome, which sometimes they claim is the most common disease in the world, but I think it's probably like 3 or 4 or 5th, and it doesn't get a lot of attention because it doesn't necessarily affect the health of a lot of people until they get older. So anyways, backtracking to the collagen is like one of the most important proteins in the body. It's a protein that our bones are made out of. It's a protein that supports a lot of tissues. It's also what makes up the extracellular matrix, which is the thing that all the cells bind to in your body. So when you have fructose, in your bloodstream, what happens is it winds up binding to the collagen. And when it binds or cross-links the collagen, the body can't repair the collagen. So repairs are blocked. So that seems to be what they're saying in these studies, is that's why people eat a lot of fruit look older, right? And of course, honey, there's a fair amount of fructose in honey. We were talking earlier about soda. Soda has high fructose corn syrup, which it's not a massively greater amount of fructose in that corn syrup than regular corn syrup or non-high fructose corn syrup, but it is an increased amount. So it's an inefficient fuel resource because of the delay. Imagine you're eating a mixed meal and the other stuff is getting absorbed into your bloodstream readily because it doesn't have to go to the liver to be processed. Then by the time that your body's done processing the fructose into fuel, your cells are already replete or full of fuel, right? So then the fructose is going to get shuttled into storage, which is fat. And in this case, probably visceral fat, probably hepatic fat or liver fat, right? So that's kind of the cascade of events that seems to be causing this epidemic of non-alcoholic fatty liver syndrome, is the high amounts of fructose in the diet, whether it be from natural fruit, which of course, what fruit is actually natural? And did we evolve to eat it because it probably wasn't available except occasionally, So anyways, that's me banging away at fructose.
Thank you, Tom. Yeah. So that's really interesting about the, barrier to collagen repair. I'm not one to pick on someone's face and things like that. That's not my game. But hey, I mean, who knows what's happening to
change isn't necessarily picking on him, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's just so hard. Shadow, light, change of season, more sun, less sun, bad day, lack of sleep. Yeah,
quality of the picture. You're right.
Yeah, so it's good to know, but I try not to take too much stock in things like that, just as a matter of principle.
And I'm just hypothesizing.
Yeah, but yeah, it's kind of interesting how. Well, I just think it's interesting these arguments back and forth. the In Search of the Perfect Human Diet, right? It's pretty much our show, basically.
And it's also a great movie.
Also a great movie. Yeah.
I think it's actually been changed. The title's become The Perfect Human Diet, and originally it was marketed as In Search of the Perfect Human Diet. Somewhere around there, it changed. But anyways, yeah, you guys can watch that movie. I highly recommend it. It's like a carnivore movie before there was a big carnivore movement, right?
So these people that, like I said, that sweet spot of exercising your way out of a quote unquote what we would consider a bad diet, but they don't consider it a bad diet, and the mainstream doesn't consider it a bad diet. Time will tell. I don't wish ill on anybody, but there's some people that have the knowledge, and they're refusing to act on it, and I just think that's really sad. And well, we'll just have to see. Maybe they'll come around again at some point. If this journey, I think, teaches us anything, is that it's almost never too late, right, Tom?
Yeah. And people that are choosing to eat some fruit or honey or whatever, if it's a moderate amount, I mean, it probably makes no difference. If it's hundreds of grams worth per day, I'm a little skeptical, right?
Right. Yeah. And I think majority of people, if not everyone, this community dabbles from time to time, goes off from time to time, pays a price, pays the toll to some extent, but then comes back. So this is no coming from a high horse perspective or anything like that.
Sure, some people fall off the wagon. Some people are just doing experiments. Some people try it and they notice something good, and then 6 months down the road, they're like, "Yeah, there was a positive to it, and now I'm seeing a negative to it, so I'm going back." And there's nothing wrong with that.
Right. Yeah. I would like to know more about this 360 scan, Sly. So when you have that done, I look forward to on your Instagram or anywhere else where we could see you. We got to have Sly on to promote the Fab. What are you guys called? Sorry, I'm trying not to say it.
Fab Nutrition.
Is that what it's called? Fab Nutrition?
You're talking about
Amanda, Becky, Sly.
Becky and Amanda. Yeah. I'll tell you officially, they're on the Locals platform.
And they have an Instagram page as well. I think it's the same name.
Yeah. Where is it? I pull it up right here.
I think you guys are doing a 90-day challenge for the beginning of the year special.
Fabi, Fabi Nutrition.
Fabi Nutrition, Fabi. So shout out to our friends over there.
I'm sorry, my
This route avoids road closures on West
somehow my phone thought I was driving.
Who says you're not?
I wasn't aware of it. It took me by surprise.
There's certain level of carnivore where you just find yourself driving. There you go.
Yeah. Apparently, I'm doing more things at once than I thought.
Ah, there you go. It's all those eggs,
right? Speaking of which, I got a lot of eggs cracked today. I actually have them, put them in, I break them, mix them with a little hand mixer, and then pour them into giant half-gallon glass jars. And I know I was kind of out picking your brain on it. It's like, because you throw back some raw egg, and you're a little skeptical as to how long you could keep them in the fridge, right? And it's before they spoil. So I don't know. I've drank them at least 3 days out, without a problem. They didn't seem to change. They do start to kind of separate a little bit in the jar, like you can see layers forming, but there's no perceptible change in taste or color or odor or anything like that 3 days out. So I don't know. Maybe I'll try. It depends. And again, it's a matter of having enough time. But I even put the jars in the fridge ahead of time if I can to make sure the jars are cold, so everything stays cold.
Well, you've had a colder winter. It's not like the middle of summer, so
true.
I mean, maybe you don't have to go that extreme with it, But I mean, hey, you're trying to be safe. What you are doing, there is a bit of risk. I'm happy you have not gotten ill. I've never gotten ill from raw eggs, even before carnivore. What I tried the last time we were, maybe it was I think it was 2 weeks ago or something. I put some raw eggs with I like raw eggs and milk personally. I think that's delicious to me. I know you're not big on dairy, and that just throws you off even more. But that's
Well, I don't drink milk. I
Right.
haven't for years. It made my allergies worse, so I quit like
right.
20 years ago. So I did. I mean, I wouldn't mind putting some cream in there, except I'd just be upping the fat, which is
Right.
a problem. So
So, but I thought, I don't know, for some reason, I had this chocolate bone broth mix or whatever. And so I was like, oh, what if I put raw egg, milk, and a bit of this chocolate bone broth mix in it? Terrible. Like it just came out like chalky.
sounds terrible.
Kind of similar to your peptide situation. Yeah, raw eggs, just the texture messes with other things, because the chocolate bone broth with milk is good. Like it tastes like a chocolate milk, except like without the sugars, and they
Sound
can
horrible.
throw you into diabetes. It's actually genuinely good. So, but throwing the raw eggs in with it just ruined the whole experience. And I was like, wow, this was a bad idea. This is one with chalk up. Now, of course, I do have the other idea of, well, maybe I just didn't put enough of the bone broth mix in it, but I just feel like it would only get worse. Is I think the safe conclusion for myself.
Yeah, pretty much sounds horrible.
Yeah. So, any last questions, comments?
Thanks for coming, everybody. It's good to see everybody.
We appreciate.
No Raymond Neff and no ADS tonight, but it was good to see Christina, Vanessa, Margie, and Sly.
And I will be recording a interview this coming Saturday for the composition consultant, Jonathan Griffith. We got to have him on here at some point. He's a great guy. Love his content.
Yeah, we just got to work out the timing. He's in the UK.
Right.
I did a video with him. It wound up being a 2-parter because I can't shut up. So
I'll have to beat you. I have to make mine a 3-parter then.
But yeah, I'd love to have him on. So, and we got to get Joe on here. And Joe's schedule changed at work, so we were hoping to get him back in here, but we haven't managed to iron that out yet. So
there's a few different people floating around there. We're always looking for guests. Of course, anyone in the audience wants to hop on. Sly, we'd love to have you on again, of course.
Yeah, I've done interviews with Margie before, and Vanessa, if I remember correctly, Vanessa lives in SoCal, so maybe her and I'll do a live from In-N-Out just to rub it in, Justin.
Hey, big news. In-N-Out's coming to Tennessee, I've heard.
Yeah.
Are they coming to Missouri as well? Or are they like, no, Nashville? Nashville makes sense. I could see that.
Yeah, well, apparently the deal was, they want everything to be fresh.
Mm-hmm.
So they want their beef and all their other components to be fresh. So they only expand into areas where they can do that,
Mm-hmm.
So,
well, plenty of farmland and cows around here. I don't know.
Yeah, they got to have somebody to bake their buns and, supply the exact potato they want. And I don't know, Joe was, I think, was impressed. We showed a video because when they make In-N-Out fries, they literally peel that potato and slice it, and then it goes in the fryer like within minutes. There's no frozen bag stuff or whatever. And if you ever for those of you who haven't been to an In-N-Out, you go there, it's just like a beehive of activity. There's like 16 people in this tiny building just making burgers. It's amazing. So it's fun. It's a fun place. It's a good quality fast food for, and it's carnivores. You probably heard us mention we go there and we can get just meat patties or a Flying Dutchman, which is just meat and cheese. In fact, I'm getting really hungry thinking about it, so.
Oh yeah, easy. Well, out here in Spring Hill, we're getting our first Whataburger, so I'm excited to try that. Never had one before.
Well, you'll have to report back. Perhaps do a live from Whataburger.
Whataburger. Yeah, I'll let you know if it's truly Whataburger.
If I'm not mistaken, that's they're from Texas.
I'm not sure, but possibly. And then I need to try a White Castle as well. I've had the like ones from the like grocery store, but I've never had
Frozen
like
ones.
yeah, but I've never had like White Castle from like the restaurant.
Yeah, I tasted the frozen ones too. Not impressed, but that's not necessarily a fair shake. And I have watched the
Harold and Kumar. go to White
Undercover Bosses, and of course Harold
Oh.
and Kumar. They go to White Castle in somewhere in New Jersey with a
Mm.
familiar name. What the hell was it they were going to? Anyways, some town in New Jersey. But yeah, the Undercover Boss thing was interesting because, and in that you got to see exactly how they do the burger. They're
Mm.
little burgers. They're on almost like a biscuit bun or something.
Yeah.
And they actually cook the meat with a bun sitting on it and everything. It was interesting.
Mhm.
People like order them by like the dozen. They're tiny.
Right. Yeah.
So, oh, Marge is checking out.
Good night, Margie.
Hi, Hammy. Don't go to sleep yet. It's only 10 o'clock at night there. It's not that late. It's nine. It's
9 there. 9 there.
Turning
That's right.
into a pumpkin at 9. But anyways, anything else there? How frequently are you eating, Justin?
I'm at 2 meals a day, but I'm trying to eat my freezer and fridge because I'm gearing up to move in the next month and a half or so. So I'm trying to eat. But yeah, so like I said last week, I was talking about those meat sticks from Sam's Club. They're like, there's 4 packs, and each pack comes with 4 sticks, you know? So I've been remembering to eat one of those from time to time. So I've been snacking on those. I bought some cheese sticks too. So I had like one of those today. And so today, went to lunch, had Five Guys, had an extra patty. The extra patty's $2.50 now. So like, ouch. Like a year ago, it was $1.50, which was like score. Now $2.50 for the extra patty was like, ooh, that's a bit pricey now. And I had bacon, cheese, 3 patties, and I left the restaurant. I left the restaurant hungry. I was like, crap, man.
We've had this conversation. If you think in the back of your mind, I should probably get an extra burger while I'm here, you should, because you're probably going to be hungry. Because when you don't eat the bun and all the other crap, you get to eat more meat. So I've made that mistake more than once.
So I came home and I had a cheese stick and then some of the one of those like sticks or a piece of those sticks. So there you go. I've been snack-a-lacking it carnivore.
I ate one of those meat sticks yesterday too. And I noticed, man, I got a bunch of string cheese down here in the fridge I haven't touched in a while. I'm getting a little suspicious that it's not moldy, so there might be some preservatives in that string cheese.
Well, that's what's so funny about the carnivore lifestyle is that there really isn't a lot of snack food. And so when you find something that looks like it'd be a great snack to grab up from time to time, you buy it excited, you put it in the freezer or the fridge, and you just completely forget it because you just don't have a desire to snack. It has to become like a conscious thing.
Marjorie says she can't wait to try those burgers. And I say, Marjorie, you should, hop from coast to coast. Fly in from Miami to LA, and we'll teach you what a burger's all about.
Do Tom's LA burger tour. He'll take you to Tommy's, take you to the Hat.
The Hat.
The Hat. I was craving the Hat the other day.
Yeah, we could do the Habit and Five Guys and all that too. If you haven't been there, I don't know if I had a burger. I had burgers from what's the other place from Texas? The one with all the drinks. Damn, it's right. Sonic.
Oh, I don't like Sonics.
I went there one time and got burgers, and I didn't even remember what it was like, so I never went back.
I'm tempted because there's a lot of Sonics around here. I'm tempted to go and get there, but I'm like, I don't know. Everywhere else just sounds better. Maybe I will. And plus, if you want to make carnivore expensive, eat out. Like, if you feel like, hey, I'm not paying enough to eat this way, just eat out. So there you go. We've ways to serve everybody. A, how to make the diet more complicated, and B, how to make it more expensive. If those are your struggles, we got ideas. We got solutions for you.
Yeah, I think a Flying Dutchman, I was going to remember how much they are, but they're probably about $3 a piece or something like that. Yeah,
Mm.
I think they went up a little bit, but they're about $3 a piece, and it's two meat patties and 2 pieces of cheese, and that's only 4 ounces of meat. Right, it's not a lot of meat, but throw the cheese in there, you get some extra fat and extra protein on that, so it's it's maybe equivalent to 4.5 ounces of meat, something like that, 5 maybe tops. So it's not a horrible deal, but I mean, in the burger world, it's probably still a bargain. Are the meat patties any bigger at what you call it?
Five Guys, yeah, they're a bit bigger. They're not 1/3 pound. They're probably like right under that.
So that's not so bad.
Yeah.
I'm sure we could look that up. Although it's not, I don't think In-N-Out, I didn't see the size of the patties on In-N-Out, but I'd read other people said they're about 2 ounces, and then didn't I weigh one? I weighed a cooked
maybe.
one, and the cooked one was about 2 ounces. So it might probably starts out a little bigger than that, but whatever. I'll do that again. I'll weigh it again. Actually,
Meat is mostly water, so there you go.
It's true. All right. Well, I guess we'll call it good night, everybody. We're already over an hour, and Margie's getting tired. Somebody else out there's probably getting tired too. I don't even remember where Christina is from. I know I asked Sly where she's from, but I don't remember. So
South Dakota. Or is it North Dakota? It's either South Dakota or North Dakota.
Yeah,
sorry, Sly.
It seemed like it was one of the
Dakotas,
Montana or something like that, but I forgot now. So anyway, somewhere where they still have bears.
Hey, Miss Patricia.
Miss Patricia's here too. So we're just signing off. Good night, Miss Patricia. And until next time, everybody, eat some meat, feel better. Whatever you do, don't fall down the fruit and honey hole. Ending broadcast.